Hey guys, today we are looking at Anywhere Else by Kayla Hicks. The thumbnail is all you're getting for the cover because it is currently at the beach on vacation with a teenager who was very desperate to read it. She just wanted something new to read on the beach that wasn't one of the books she's already reread 100 times, so obviously I sent it with her. Anywhere Else is about a girl named Lena. Lena is living with her mom, who is an alcoholic. Her older sister has already gone off to college. You don't really get any interaction between Lena and her older sister, which is understandable. If you've ever been to college, you know how absolutely time consuming that can be, especially if you have a chaotic home life that you just don't want to be a part of. So college has to work. This is your escape to get away from all of that. And Lena at one point points out that she's been taking care of her mother or cleaning up her mother's messes since she was 6. Lena works 2 part-time jobs. One of the jobs is in a kind of deli restaurant in a store, and the other one is in a coffee house. And her best friend Sydney works at the diner deli with her, and when things take a turn for the worse with her mom and she ends up not having a place to live, Sydney is like right there with, hey, let's just get an apartment. They're 19. Lena is 19, Sydney's 21. And so they go and they decide to go get an apartment of their own because Sydney has not a great relationship with her mom either. Not as bad as what Lena has, because Sydney's mom's not an alcoholic. She just works a lot. And so the two of them get an apartment together. None of this is spoilers, by the way. This is all things you're going to see on the back of the book for the description. But Lena ends up getting an apartment with Sydney, and her boyfriend breaks up with her, so she's like, okay, I've lost my housing, I've lost my boyfriend, but I'm moving into an apartment with my best friend. Things can't possibly get worse, right? And of course she's herself is trying, the reason she's working these 2 jobs is to save up some money so that she can go to college. Sydney herself is taking college classes, and enter these 2 guys that take an interest in Lena, Brent and Garrett. And everybody in this story has their own thing that they've got to overcome. With Lena, obviously it's an alcoholic mother. Sydney has her own things to deal with. Brent and Garrett have their own. Brent has his past that he's dealing with and the trauma that he's dealt with there. Garrett's got his things going on. And I won't get into what their thing was because the only one that is talked about on the back of the book is Lena's alcoholic parent. But I like how the author talks about how these guys are they're trying to figure life out while dealing with whatever it is that they've got to deal with. I like how she portrays the trauma responses without calling it out that that's a trauma response. Like, the people react to different things the way that they would normally react with things based on what they've dealt with, and none of it really feels forced. None of it feels unrealistic. Everything, the story flows really, really well. Lena has moments where she's feeling sorry for herself, and then there's moments where she is totally rocking the lifestyle or whatever. When she's cleaning up the kitchen, she's dancing with the mop and singing along to the music. Or if she's just bantering with Sydney or one of the guys or one of her friends. At one point she's teasing Brent about his coffee choices. Other times she's just hanging out with Garrett for the 4th of July and just making conversation with him. She's very protective of her truck, which makes sense because her truck, Betsy, she claims she bought it secondhand. I think it's more like third or fourth hand. The kid she bought it off of probably bought it off of somebody else. This truck's been through the ringer. Her hood doesn't match her frame. The doors don't match the frame. And according to one of Lena's co-workers, Betsy, the truck, sounds like a dying squirrel every time you start it up. And Lena's just very protective of Betsy. She's like, she does not sound like a dying squirrel, and she is a good truck, and I love her. And I think that's really typical. Like, a lot of people might say, this truck is ugly, it doesn't work half the time, how can you love the truck so much? But when you stop and think about Lena and her situation, she has this parent that is completely unreliable that she's had to deal with of, if you don't drive me to school, then I either have to walk or get a ride, or I'm going to miss school altogether, because her mom's too hungover or too drunk or just not there to take her to school or work or whatever. So without Betsy, Lena is stuck just walking it or relying on somebody else. And this truck is a representation of freedom. It's the first step for her to get her freedom and to be able to be self-reliant, because she's so used to not asking for help that she will wait until there's absolutely no other way than to just ask for help. She even gets herself into a situation, and she doesn't really get herself into a situation so much as the situation kind of just happens to her, and her whole thought process is, I can do this, I can handle this. How many times have I handled situations with my mom that, you know, she was completely useless and I had to step up and do something? And so she has moments where she just looks at a situation and says, of course I've got it. Who else has got it? Nobody else. I'm not going to get help from anybody else, so it's got to be me. And then she will get into these points where she'll get to these points where, okay, I need help, you know, but she waits until there's absolutely no choice but to ask for help before she'll even ask for help. And that's all part of, again, the trauma response of, she's never had anybody that she could rely on to help her. She's had to do it all herself, you know. I would say that my favorite character, oddly enough, is Betsy the truck. And I love that Kayla Hicks actually makes Betsy her own character, that she does kind of have a life force on the page. And Lena, like I said, Lena has banter with everybody, including Betsy. Like, she will sit there and have a full-on conversation with Betsy as they're, you know, tumbling down the road together. And like I said, she's very defensive of Betsy. She's very protective of her. She's very loyal to her, and she kind of has her loyalty is well placed. Even Garrett tells her that Betsy's not a bad truck. She's just a badly maintained truck. And so realizing that, you know, she's not the only one that thinks Betsy is bad, and even Sydney grows fond of Betsy, and Garrett and everybody else has a fondness for Betsy. So they get to a point, it's nice to see her be like, I love Betsy, Betsy is my truck and she's my girl, and then everybody else is like, you know, actually she's not that bad. She just needs some work. And Lena, even at one point, is like, I wouldn't trade her mismatched doors and hood for the world. But I love how, like I said, how Kayla is able to, everything is from Lena's point of view. Nothing is from anybody else's point of view. It's all from Lena's point of view. And through Lena's point of view, you not only see her working on herself and trying to figure out how to navigate her trauma and move forward from it, but you also see from her point of view how everybody else is dealing with their own baggage and what they're doing, and like she's observing them and she's so proud of them for when they are doing well with one another. So I do think, like I said, I can't say enough good things about this. It's a very clean romance. There's no spicy scenes. Like I said, it is a teen romance, so you could absolutely give this. The girl I gave it to is 12 or 13, something like that. I happily gave it to her. There's nothing in it that I would be worried about her reading in there. Yeah, this, I think adults would enjoy it. I keep saying it's a teen romance, but I'm 45 and I enjoyed the story, so either I am a giant kid in an adult body, a perpetual teenager in an adult body, or it's just a good generation gap book, because the 12-year-old, she got to read like the first couple of chapters and already messaged me saying that she was enjoying the book and had to put it down so that she could have something to actually read on the beach, because she started reading it in the car on the way down. But yeah, I would recommend this to a preteen. I would recommend this to a teen. I would recommend this to adults. It's definitely a multi-generational book that anyone would be more than entertained by. And one of the things I love about it is how it frames healthy versus unhealthy relationships, and how to kind of spot the healthy relationships and the red flags without really being too textbook about it. So yeah, go read it. Go get yourself a copy. The links are in the description below. Definitely highly recommend it. That's really all I've got to say about it, because if I say too much more, then you might as well not read the book, because I could sit here honestly and go on for like 20 minutes telling you about this book, and then you would not have to read the book because I would just tell you everything in it. It's just so good. Like I said, I liked the book and I would definitely recommend it, and if I get the book back, it might go on my shelf or it might go to another teenager. I don't know. I'm perfectly happy with this one being passed around, because I think it's a really good, I like it as a romance to give to teens, and especially with this day and age when sometimes it's hard to know with media what's a healthy relationship and what's a not healthy relationship. But I would highly recommend this book. It was so much fun. It's very light and fluffy, despite the heavy topics. It was just such an enjoyable read. Like I said, most of the banter between the characters is just so fun and exactly what you would expect how friends would speak to one another. So, like I said, link is in the description. Go get your own copy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.